Hello, and welcome to the first video of the predictions for the World Championship series here. Today we're just going to be talking about the play-ins, which are going to be these 8 teams competing for the 4 spots available. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So MIBR, made in Brazil, org that picked up this Corinthians roster. So let's talk about how Corinthians did throughout the year. If you look at the most recent the last chance qualifier, just as a reminder, it's Drops, Razebull, and Brad. Razebull, you may remember, played in the NA team Complexity for the first chunk of the season, and ended up moving to South America and moving back to South America, and then picking up with this Corinthian esports team. So as you can see this year, they had decent results, a lot of 3/4, third and fourths, I should say, in these SAM Opens. Obviously not enough to qualify. You can see they do seem to me to be pretty clearly the third best team in SAM, but behind Furia and Secret. You can see they got third, fourth a bunch of times. They did have a 7th through 8th, but then clearly they win this last chance qualifier. And they won it pretty convincingly over Godfidence 4-2, TBS Esports 4-1, Overlooked 4-1. So they did pretty well. So they're definitely coming in with some momentum. Then let's talk about how Gen.G did. So Gen.G's most recent result, and as a reminder, Gen.G is Magic Bear, Cheese, and Justin, not Reddles. If you are just tuning in now, Reddles was on Gen.G at the beginning of the season, but was traded to Shopify Rebellion, which is another team that's in the play-in qualifiers. But they've got Gen.G has Justin now. So who do we expect to do better? So Gen.G beat Secret in Esports World Cup. I know that's not RLCS, but it's the most recent 3v3 we have against top competition, so we got to use it. I think we have to use it, I should say. They beat Team Secret 3-2. They then lost to Dignitas 3-0, and then they got rematched with Team Secret, and they got swept by Team Secret. So they beat Team Secret, and they lost to them. Hard to read that, right? They won a close battle, and then they got swept the next day. So it does make me think Team Secret is probably a level above Gen.G. Maybe it's close. I don't know, because clearly they lost here in a best-of-5 series. So we didn't get to see Gen.G play many other teams. Gen.G in their most recent results at Raleigh. Let me pull that up. At Raleigh, they got 9th through 11th. And so they didn't do too many amazing things there either. You can see they beat Virtus Pro, and then they beat SSG at the time. SSG, it was their first LAN. But they lost to Dignitas, Energy, and Twisted Minds. Honestly, those are all quality losses. Those are great teams. So who do we expect to win here in a best-of-5? Gen.G or Made in Brazil? I think Gen.G has a very good first match in tournaments typically. So I expect them to win this. I expect it to be close, though. So I'm going to pick Gen.G advancing in the uppers of the play-ins here, with that being my background. And stay tuned with me, guys, because I'm going to be going into a lot of detail for this. Like I said, this is just the play-in video. I'm also going to be doing the whole rest of the bracket as a later video, probably soon. So, ROC. Mina's play-in team. Let's see how ROC did. Let me go over here on Liquipedia. And just in case you're not familiar with the spreadsheet, Cody VRL on X.com, he's the one that puts them together with some help from some other people that he credits on his profile if you want to look it up. All you have to do is copy it and save it to your own Google Drive, so that way you can make edits to it and make these prediction videos. ROC is Twiz, Abdullah, and Ghazi. Good team, obviously. When it comes to how they've done in the last chance qualifier, you can see they had a pretty dominant 4-1 over Alcadia, 4-1 over Sleeping, and then a 4-0 over Team Vision, and then a 4-1 over Alcadia again in the grand finals. So very solid results that were pretty convincing, I think, for ROC. When you look at their results for these opens this year, let's go 2025, 5th through 6th, 9th through 12th. They got second in MENA Open 5. I forgot about that they lost to Falcons there. So they've peaked as high as second, and 9th through 12th in the final one. Not their best showing. So definitely, I think it's pretty clear that they're the third best team, or at least the third or fourth best team in MENA. And so this one I think is a more interesting matchup because they're playing Foot. Now, Foot has kind of not had the best showing, but they're also kind of that team that everyone tries to punch on. It's the VK Salen, Lioro, and Taurus 8232 SSA team. As you can see, Foot, where are they here? Oh, they got one bottom now. They lost to the Gentlemates at Raleigh. They lost to SSG at Raleigh, and they lost to TSM at Raleigh. And then if we go back to EWC, you can see that Foot did get one game off NRG, but to be honest, NRG always give up a game in their first series on LAN. I don't know why they do that, but they always do. And then they beat Virtus Pro, which was a good improvement because I think they had lost to Virtus Pro earlier in the season, and then they got swept by NRG. So they got a tough bracket because Virtus Pro and Foot knew that they needed to beat either NRG or Carmine Corps to advance through, so they probably kind of knew it wasn't realistic. So who's better, third team in MENA or the first team in SSA? The thing is, this is tough because I could see it cutting either ways. Foot's actually been on a upwards trajectory on their skill and their performances at these LANs, whereas ROC is still relatively unknown. I think purely online, I like ROC here better than Foot, but on LAN, I do want to actually give the edge to Foot. Man, is that a controversial pick to pick Foot? I feel like people always expect them to lose out right away over ROC. Yeah, I'm going to give it to LAN experience here. I don't even know if I was going to make this comparison before, but I'm actually going to pick Foot over ROC. That kind of surprises me now in the moment, saying it out loud. But I think for LAN experience reasons, I like Foot here better. You guys let me know what you think. Let's talk about Shopify Rebellion versus Virtus Pro, and we can stay in the EWC. So, well, I guess we can look at Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro was also in that Group A we just referenced. They got swept by Carmine Corps, and then they lost a close series to Foot in Game 5 overtime. Tough showing for Virtus Pro, but Virtus Pro has been doing better. If we look at their results, they got 12th through 14th at Raleigh, and then obviously they're the most dominant APAC team, so it's kind of like APAC number 1 versus NA number 5. So Rebellion isn't going to be in the EWC, right? Because they were, let me see, let me just pull them up really quick. Shopify Rebellion, just as a reminder, it's 2-piece Ruddles and Wavy now, and they don't have, sorry, the Liquipedia is a little bit outdated for them. But obviously they won the last chance qualifier. I would say pretty convincingly. They 4-0'd NPL, they 4-2'd Pirates on a Boat, and they 4-1'd the boys. Sorry, I don't know why I said that like a question mark. Because I was trying to remember when they played Complexity. I thought they had played Complexity at one point, but I guess not. So, yeah, Shopify Rebellion, good results there, and they should feel pretty happy about those things. I do think Rebellion is a better team than Virtus Pro, so I'm going to give it a 3-2 because I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to give it to Rebellion here. I think they have a higher skill ceiling. Virtus Pro has been impressing me. Not shocked if they beat Rebellion to keep their spot here, but I think Shopify Rebellion is just a better team. Ninjas in Pyjamas versus TSM. Now, Ninjas in Pyjamas is EU number 5. Very, very strong team. It's got Nas, Oski, and Radosin on it. Radosin was traded or swapped in for Itachi before. And Ninjas in Pyjamas had a couple heartbreaking things happen to them this season where they were very close to being on LAN, but not quite. Granted, with their experience playing on LAN, I expect Ninjas in Pyjamas to do well. I don't expect there to be much rust when it comes to these players. TSM, as you can see in the World Cup, most recent, they got swept by Twisted Minds 3-0, and then they lost to Space Station Gaming 3-1. So they did pick up a game off of SSG, but we haven't seen a lot from OCE this season to make me think anything other than a 3-0 sweep here. So I think that, to me, puts Gen.G, Foot, Rebellion, Ninjas in the uppers. So I think let's just keep through on these uppers. I do think Gen.G beats Foot pretty handily. I think Gen.G has a really good bracket here to play Made in Brazil and Foot. Maybe I give Foot one game because maybe they do something weird and Gen.G doesn't respond well. But I do think Gen.G probably has the easiest bracket of anybody here. Granted, there's definitely a world where they lose to Made in Brazil, ROC. I don't think they lose to Foot, but maybe they could. And then Rebellion versus Ninjas. This is a tougher match. I think Ninjas in Pyjamas beats Rebellion here, and it's probably not super duper close, but I think that does push the Rebellions to the lowers. And so that makes Gen.G and Ninjas qualifying through in the upper play-ins. So let's cover the lower play-ins. Got Made in Brazil versus ROC. This one's tough. I think I like ROC here. I think they catch a little bit of their... I think they catch some of their steam here and do better than in their first match. Virtus Pro, TSM. I like Virtus Pro over TSM. I think TSM is going to get swept out. That's my prediction, I guess, right? Rebellion over ROC. I do like Rebellion here, NA bias. Let's give it a close one to keep us on the edge of our seats and put them through. And then Foot versus Virtus Pro. I think Virtus Pro gets their get back and beats Foot this time after losing to them at EWC. And that puts Virtus Pro through, eliminating Foot. So maybe not the most controversial picks at the end of the day. I got Gen.G, Ninjas, Rebellion, and Virtus Pro. But you let me know what you think. Do you think ROC's going to do better? Do you expect Made in Brazil to do better? Virtus Pro, TSM. Do you expect any of these teams to qualify through when I didn't put them through? Would love to hear your thoughts and your opinions. So then that shakes up, just as a quick preview. Oh my. I love these logos that they put together. Group A, Carmine Virtus, GK Ultimates, Dignitas, Gen.G, Furia Wildcard. And Group B, Falcons Rebellion, Vitality Space Station, NRG Ninjas, and Twisted and Secret. I mean, aren't you guys excited? Come on, this is going to be amazing. Even if it's aren't these teams that I picked, this is going to be incredible. Well, this prediction video will be coming soon, maybe later this week, we'll see, or possibly early next week. Also be lookout on a ton of RLCS content coming up soon in the lead up to Worlds. I'm going to be putting out a lot of videos, so if you're interested in this type of content, please subscribe. Thank you so much for all the support. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Hasta luego. See you later. Bye.